So welcome to Istanbul. They say merhaba. Today, what we're going to do is we guide you through all aspects of tissue addition technology with the focus on presbyopia. We're going to start off more on the technical side, give you an input from the clinical trials we did in Europe. I think we can have a good discussion about how it works. And later then Eileen will join us and she will talk a little bit about the pre-op, intra-op tips and tricks, post-op management, and then we can have a little bit of a wet lab brought in microscope so you can touch and feel the tissue, which I think is important. I'm co-founder of Allotex together with David Muller. David is a cornerstone in refractive surgery. He did the first FDA approvals with Summit back in the days. Brought pretty much the first excimer laser into the market. And David and I were on the table negotiating about the deal. And then after we had a handshake, he said, Michael, I have this idea. Why not using tissue for making refractive procedures? And I said, well, I did something with that with Theo Seiler. I published it in 2000. And that's kind of, okay, we have a common ground here. And that's where we started to develop Allotex. First of all, had to build the whole technology. We're going to talk about that, how we're making the lenticles. And then we did clinical trials in Europe, multi-center clinical trials, where we now have 4 years follow-up, and we're going to share with you these data. So that's a little bit of my background. So all the tissue we are processing is out of the US. We're working with a big US eye bank, Vision Gift. You might know Vision Gift from Care Natural. They are a non-profit organization. They do all the recovery of the tissue. They do all the processing of the tissue. We get the tissue sterilized already. They call it halo tissue. And when we get it to Boston, we have full sterile aseptic production. If you would come to the office, you would see it's actually kind of like your surgical suite for LASIK. So we have a big monster, an excimer laser. That's not an excimer laser you use in the clinic. It's an industrial system that we designed particular for processing the tissue. So that's nothing you can buy somewhere. So that's kind of what we developed over the last years, and that's how we're making the lenticles. We're going to talk a little bit more about this later, but to give you a couple of impressions. As I said, we did a multi-center clinical trial in Europe with various people, Eileen, Afur, Sama Hamada, Shiraz, and Pavel Studulka. We were running the whole trial under US perspective because we are in the process to submit for US FDA trials. We have solid data. We're now into 4 years follow-up, so we're going to share that with you. And it was quite a successful study, which we started just before the pandemic. And our 6-month follow-up was just completed when the pandemic hit. And then we had to give the whole thing a break. That was a challenge, like for everyone. But we're very happy to, we could get almost 80% of the patients back for the 4-year follow-up. So it's pretty exciting. We kind of launched in Europe, and what we're doing is we want to go step by step. We now, in Italy, we did the first cases. We have to go to some regulatory process. We are in the process to complete that. We are active in Austria. We're active now in Turkey, of course, Slovakia with Arthur in Dublin. We're soon opening up the UK and Spain. France, we're in the process. They want some extra paper. And bad news for the Germans is the Germans make everything complicated. So we're in the process. We're early stage. We just got approval in Canada. So we're doing a similar group in May with your Canadian college. So step by step, we're evolving, but we want to take it controlled. We want to work with the right surgeons. So kind of why this is a small group is because we want to work with the right people to make sure this is going step by step in the right way. So if you have good news, tell it everyone. If you have bad news, tell me or tell Thierry and Francesco. They joined us about a year ago. Both have substantial vision and vision care and ophthalmology background. Please feel free, communicate, exchange with them. If you have questions, they're more than welcome to support you. Other than that, I again welcome you. I'm very excited about this day because we plan for a lot of things here. It's great to see this multinationality. It's fantastic, and it kind of feels like the old Wavelight times. Bringing a new technology to the market is exciting. I spent about 30 years trying to remove tissue. Now we're going to put it back again.